Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. In this video, we are going to discuss Litecoin, conduct machine learning based price forecast, regression analysis, retirement related model, compound annual growth rate related model, and accumulation strategies, risk based models, and estimated bull run target. None of the content is financial advice. We'll start with the analytics of the performance heat map and why Litecoin is one of the key coins to watch right now. Over the last 24 hours compared to its peers, that is what top 30 cryptos by market cap, Litecoin has led by about 10% over the last or rallied by 10% over the last 7 days, up by about 12%. You can see Litecoin taking the charge slowly but surely on those two key time periods. Over the last 30 days as well, Litecoin ranks number 4th by cryptos which are rallying in terms of 30 days performance. Or the last 90 days, there is still a lag, but still in the first quartile, at the end of the first quartile, up by about 36% from the last 90 days. Right now, the price of Litecoin, this is the technical analysis or the the daily price chart for Litecoin since and analyzing it through the lens of a series of higher lows and potentially higher highs from cycle to cycle. Right now, this white line, which acted as a key area of support back in the April 2025 crash, if we were to look at the current position of this white line, is currently coming in at around $65. The price of Litecoin is at around $122, coming close to that 0.23 fib level or Fibonacci level drawn from the 2021 high to the 2022 low for Litecoin. That came similar to Ethereum in early to mid June of 2022. Back then the price was at around $41. The previous all-time high about 10x higher at around $411. That is this 2021 cycles high, not the all-time high. The all-time high occurred again slightly at around end of December 2017. If you look from cycle to cycle, again in 2021 there was slightly higher highs in terms of the price action going higher than the 2017 cycle, but realistically speaking it was only a marginally higher price action than and again the Litecoin's peak came in May of 2021, not in November 2021, where the majority of assets in the crypto market did rally in the second half of 2021. So that is one key observation to note. From that point, again, if you were to extrapolate what could theoretically be a target for Litecoin, coming to the 0.23 fib level coming in at around $129, that's a key level to watch. The 382 fib level is at around $183. Those are the the two levels to watch to the upside. The 0.5 is at around $226. Much of what Litecoin does depends on the other crypto asset class as a whole. Litecoin rarely manifests itself as a leader on this narrative word cloud. Right now you can see the narrative cloud is geared towards Bitcoin and altcoins and ETH. Almost the same. Slightly altcoins are taking some of the attention away from Bitcoin and ETH at this point, but again Litecoin rarely has a presence over here. So that's again it kind of depends on other cryptos to rally. If this time around, again, if there is a new all-time high extrapolated from the 2017 and 2021 highs, this ascending blue line says the price action could peak somewhere at around $491. So this is drawn from, again, you can see this blue line takes its origin from 2017, then 2021, and now potentially extrapolated to end of year 2025. Coming to the machine learning side of things and machine learning based price forecast for Litecoin, there are three scenarios using the price action since 2014. You can see marginal highs from 2017 and 2018. From cycle to cycle, a series of higher lows, which bodes well from this weekly average price analysis. If there is a non-euphoria rally towards the end of the year, the price forecasted in that environment, again this is captured by this yellow line, between $139 to $212 for Litecoin. That's a non-Euphoria bull run target, close to that 0.5 fib level, coming in at around $216 or so. This is the weekly average price. So that doesn't mean that if the weekly average price, for example, is $212, that doesn't mean that price of Litecoin peaks at that level. So for example, in 2021, the weekly average price in the week of May of 2021 was $341, whereas the eventual peak was $411. So about a $60-70 higher than that. That's how the candles work. Again, we in the machine learning side of things deal with the weekly average price, not the highs for any week, because highs last for only a moment or two. So that's the non-Euphoria target, comes with a caveat again, with $212 as a weekly average. The eventual peak in that scenario could be somewhere very close to the 0.5 fib level, coming in at around $226. On the other hand, if the prices were to rally to that Euphoria target, where the ceiling or the price movement makes a 2 standard deviation ceiling, that is at around 95 percentile confidence that the peak in that 2 standard deviation Euphoria case for Litecoin comes between $152 for this week. Again, this is correlated with time as well. Again, 2 standard deviation peak for November is coming in at around $270, but in December that's closer to $309. $309 Litecoin is again, with that weekly average price of $309, the peak could be somewhere close to 0.786 fib level at around $332. That's again a confluence between the Fibonacci model and the machine learning model. The 3 standard deviation, the 99.7 percentile confidence model, says that the red line, that is, if there is a blow off top in the next 6 months, the 99.7 percentile confidence, the price ceiling established in that environment in the next 6 months is between $166. That is for this week. Again, a 3 standard deviation rally ceiling for this week is $166, whereas a 3 standard deviation rally ceiling in end of 2025 is at around $433. This $433, if you were to extrapolate with that blue line over here, that ceiling towards the end of year 2025 is at around $490 or so. And with that caveat of weekly average prices being $60 to $70 lower than the eventual peak, if you were to add these two numbers together, you would get 430 plus 60 is close to that $490 level. So still that blue line over here per the machine learning model is still in play, provided there is a 3 standard deviation rally, and 99.7 percentile bull ceiling is established. If that is established within the next 6 months, price could see a $491 target. So coming to the regression based fair value for Litecoin, right now the prices, the pink line helps identify what is undervalued, what is overvalued, and what is fairly valued. Right now $140 is per this regression based model. That's the fair value estimated by the regression model. Historically speaking, whenever the prices are having a close proximity or slightly lower than the green line over here, which is 1 standard deviation residual, applied to the regression based fair value, accumulating below the green line, historically speaking, has been one of the best times to accumulate. If not, the second best time is between the pink line and the green line. That's where the current price action is. Again, this is not financial advice. And together, this green line and the yellow line, which is 1 standard deviation residual first to the upside and the established by this yellow line, and 1 standard deviation residual to the downside established by this green line. If we take these two lines together, price action stays about 68% or 1 standard deviation time within these bounds. The 1 standard deviation ceiling per the regression based model for Litecoin for this cycle is coming in at around $262. And again, if we were to look at historically speaking from cycle to cycle, you can see that 3 standard deviation ceiling was hit in 2017. 2 standard deviation ceiling was hit in 2021. This time around, maybe as this again extrapolating this 6 months into the future, with this upward swing bias, the 1 standard deviation could be somewhere close to $330. The 2 standard deviation, the orange line, could be somewhere between $600 and $650. Again, 3 standard deviation is right now out of the scope. Again, Litecoin barely made it to the 2 standard deviation ceiling in 2021, and again from cycle to cycle there is a reality of diminished volatility to the upside and to the downside, as established by the series of higher highs and higher lows with diminished price action range. So where does that leave us? If we were to extrapolate what theoretically could be a price in the next 6 months using the regression approach, again this is the price color coded with regression based risk level, using an extrapolation of this future regression line, this line could have a fair value at around $290. That could be the fair value. Right now the fair value itself is at around $150. So 2x within the next 6 months, potentially as the markets go euphoria, in the euphoria mode, the regression based fair value also goes up in those scenarios. What is key to look for in over here is the 2 standard deviation peak regression line. The dotted red line over here helps identify when the price action has culminated into that eventual peak regression based fair valuation. If we were to extrapolate that into the future towards the end of year 2025, per this model, the 2 standard deviation ceiling is at around 980 to that $1,000 target. If that kind of materializes, that euphoria rally, if that takes to the 2 standard deviation residual applied to the regression model, $1,000 Litecoin theoretically is possible again, but realistically speaking, has the last iteration of the market cycle peak, that is in 2021, barely touched that dotted red line. So this time around, you can see in 2017 the price was almost a 2x or 3x higher than the dotted red line in 2017, which was at around $97, whereas the peak was at around $350. In 2021 they barely met at around $400. So this time around again there could be a 50% deflection to the downside. By that what I mean is, if the dotted red line in December is at around $900, the eventual peak could be $450. If the regression based 2 standard deviation ceiling is at around $1,000, the peak could be at around $500. That's just heuristics. Coming to the regression based fair value based risk color code and key levels to look for. If the intermediate risk target between 0.5 and 0.7 is hit, this time around the price could be somewhere between $350 and $460. Whereas if the price risk goes to the 0.8 level, the price could be at around $500. Last time around, that is in 2021, in the mania phase of 2021, the risk level went only as about 0.26 and 0.2. Those levels right now, 0.2 is coming in around $181 and 0.26 is around $209. But those values are subject to change as and when the new price action is available to us. This is as of today a ceiling. If we were to reach within the next 24 hours, that could be around $209. But again, as if there are 6 more months left in the rally, extrapolating the risk levels to between 0.5 and 0.7 is not too outlandish. Between 0.5, that is at around $350, and 0.7 is at around $460, confluent with that blue line over here coming in at around $590. So going to the time weighted average price model to identify what's the level for Litecoin, this blue line helps identify the accumulation based time periods for Litecoin. Whenever the price is very proximal to the blue line, which is the time weighted average price, historically speaking, accumulating in that environment has not been the worst idea. Right now that time weighted average price is coming in at around $71. price is about slightly under 2x from that level. This model did identify, based on the deflection between the price and the time weighted average price, identified the May 2021 peak. Did a decent job in identifying the December 2017 peak, but that at that point the asset was the asset, that is Litecoin, was fairly new. This time around, again, if the time weighted average price risk were to go to let's say somewhere between 0.8 and 1, that could raise some eyebrows, but right now it's coming in at around only 0.43. Going ahead with the regression based simple moving average based analysis for the risk levels, currently at around 0.27. In May 2021 it was at around 0.56. If we see a 0.56 this time around, again for this week, that 0.56 is around $250. Within the next 20 weeks, that could easily be extrapolated based on how the 20-week moving average goes into the future. Right now it's 20 weeks simple moving average is at around $91. If it were to go to that 2x from that level, these numbers over here could also 2x proportionally speaking. So a 0.5 risk at the peak could be close to that $500 level. That all depends on the trajectory for the 20-week simple moving average. This is the red line over here. That's the 20-week simple moving average. For the retirement related model analysis for Litecoin, unfortunately this graph is still loading. Maybe we'll make a dedicated video only on the retirement CAGR model for Litecoin. But overall, right now the estimated bull run target for Litecoin as a confluence of all the risk-based model is coming in at around $508. That's a 4.1x from the current price of about $122. This model calculates each individual risk, that regression risk, the time weighted average price risk, and SMA risk, creates a weighted risk, and projects right now it's at almost 1/4 or 25%, close to that 25% weighted risk. This model assumes at the bull run peak, this weighted risk goes to 0.95, that instead of 0.25. And with that, the estimated bull run peak is at around $508. With that, I would like to conclude the two possible scenarios for Litecoin. If there is no new all-time high close to that $340, that's confluent with the regression-based model as well as the Fibonacci models and the machine learning models. If there is a new all-time high, the major area of confluence is at this blue line coming in at around $500, a $50 tolerance to the downside, and to the upside that is between $450 and $550. And with that, I would like to conclude. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give a like and subscribe, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.